and go. This is Taylor Miller. This is my audience of 3. Hello. The majority of you are parents, and as parents, you think about your children almost constantly. I know I do. We wonder what our kids are doing when we're not with them, who they're interacting with, whether they're unintentionally learning thoughts or behaviors that we don't particularly want them to. Each child is different when it comes to how they interact with people, and we usually don't know what will hinder or benefit them until it happens. For instance, an extremely shy child attending a public school might not be ideal, while a child who is sociable will have an excellent time in the same setting. Some people think that going to public school will help their child with social skills. For some, this may be true, but for others, it could be the opposite. Many say that homeschooling teaches better social skills than public school. Children who went to public schools will usually show a difference in social skills compared to children that were homeschooled. I'm here to talk about the history, the advantages, and the disadvantages of both public schools and homeschooling, and the effects each may have on the social skills of children. When learning about some of the things in our world today, it helps to know some of the history and background information on the topic. Some history and facts about public and homeschool. Public school has been around for a long time. It's evolved and changed over the centuries. HistoryWorld.org stated that public school started in 3100 BC, and the students were to learn or to be beaten. They had no choice. HistoryWorld.org also said that schools in colonial America in the 17th century focused on memorization, and if they didn't learn, they were whipped. This physical flogging has since been replaced with psychological consequences known as grades. HowStuffWorks.com said that the first public schools in the U.S. started in the 1840s in wealthy communities, only for families that could afford them. In 1918, all American children were required by law to attend at least elementary school. This chart from the Homeschool World website shows how homeschool has progressed from 350 BC until today. This is homeschool, not public school. And you can pass it around or look at it closer since it's kind of hard to see. Population growth has made it so more kids are attending public school, but homeschooling is also becoming more popular around the world. Homeschooling was the original way of teaching, so it's been around longer than public school. Homeschool.com said that the first known case of homeschooling was Alexander the Great in 350 BC. But I would imagine the original homeschool was probably mothers teaching their daughters life skills and fathers teaching their sons life skills in the home. According to the Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia, in the 20th century, homeschooling was mostly illegal in the United States, but has been getting more popular since the 1970s. The encyclopedia also says that the European country with the largest amount of homeschooled kids is the UK. A large reason for any country or any family to do homeschooling with their children has to do with religion. Homeschool is most popular in the United States, but it's growing in various nations around the globe. Canada, Australia, and the UK, says homeschool.com, are the countries besides the US with the largest number of homeschooled students. Some countries have laws against it. Sweden, Spain, and Germany are a few of those. And here's a map of the world that shows countries that have legalized homeschooling in red. countries in which homeschooling are still illegal, or is still illegal, in the white. So there's actually a lot of countries that it's still illegal, which you wouldn't think it was because it's been around longer than public school. Now that we have some knowledge on the histories of these two types of schooling, let's have a look at pros and cons of public schooling and homeschooling and the effects on social skills of kids. The plus sides of public school is that the students have a wider variety of people that they're around and perspectives. The Canadian Centre for Knowledge website said, quote, "Center care is associated with better early language development. Public school helps kids learn to interact with their peers since they're with them every day, and it can also act as a catalyst for learning to trust their parents. Say, maybe in preschool, if a kid cries every day when their mom or dad drops them off, they'll learn over time that their parents will come back to pick them up. The child having the different perspectives from different teachers is a big thing because they could have a teacher that they really like, that they really get along with, who inspires them for maybe even a career choice down the road. If they have a teacher that they really just have a good match with. Or on the other side of that, they could have a teacher that they don't get along with, or their teaching methods aren't suitable for the child, and so down the years they have more chances at finding a better teacher that will be able to teach them. You can tell when a child has been around kids at their age by the way that they act. They learn how to share and play nicely when they're around kids every day. Public school benefits naturally social kids and teens because they're around peers every day and they tend to prosper. The downsides to public school, some of the downsides to public school is that there's not as much one-on-one attention. Not every kid has naturally occurring social skills, so a lot of them will be shy, and like if they need help in class, they won't speak up and ask for help because they're scared to talk in front of everybody. And the teaching isn't individually tailored to each child, so there could be some that don't learn as much as others or get left behind. Some kids will always feel socially awkward. I am one of those. Forcing socialization can sometimes do more harm than good. Kids pick up friends' habits. They can have friends that are bad influences, and if they see them at school every day, the parents can't do much about them seeing them. Homeschoollife.com says that public school contributes to negative social skills such as teasing, rudeness, and peer pressure. And a lot of times in the classroom, discipline is put on the back burner. Now we can compare public schools to homeschools, the good and the bad sides. Homeschool has definite benefits for a lot of families, but it also has some negatives. Children develop strong social skills and self-confidence. The parents have a lot of material to choose from because of the internet, and they just have a lot of resources. And the children have more personal attention, and they can learn more on their own terms. According to Dr. Scott Turansky in his article, Social Development and the Homeschooled Child, homeschooling can develop strong self-confidence and social skills. Martha Poole, a freshman at Southern Methodist University, she grew up homeschooled by her mom. She said, quote, "I enjoyed learning at home because with one-on-one instruction, our inquisitive minds never soured in class waiting for slower students. When we mastered the required material, the remainder of the day was our own." And I thought that was really cool. It would be nice to stay at home, learn the stuff that you need to learn, and your parents are right there to help you all the time. And then you can just go play for the rest of the day. The article, "Do It All Yourself Parents," says that anyone can take an online class from a tutor across the world. There's nearly endless teaching materials for parents or tutors, and some of the material is so down to detail that a parent can teach a subject to their child that they've never even learned themselves. Some of the negatives of homeschool, off-the-grid vaccinations among homeschooled children. There's an article that said that children go frequently unvaccinated when they're homeschooled because they're not required to get the vaccinations like those that go to public school. It doesn't only put them at risk for the diseases that the other kids are protected against, but it puts the whole community at risk. Education Week, homeschooling.com talks about opponents of homeschooling who say that kids aren't getting a quality education compared to those in public school because a lot of countries and states don't require teaching degrees or the standardized tests that the public schools do. This chart is from homeschoolworld.com, and it shows some pros and cons of homeschooling and public schooling. So, I've discussed the history of both public and homeschooling around the world and the positive and negative aspects of each and the effects that they had on the students' social skills. Children who've attended public schools and children who've been homeschooled will differ in their social skills, usually. But each child is different, and each parent has their own way of raising their kids. That being said, I hope that I've helped you in some way to make a more informed decision on educating your child now or in the years to come. Children are our most important investment. They are our future.